Welcome everyone to another OGRA webinar. We are fortunate today to have Iris as a presenter today, hosting and sponsoring this webinar to present on building smart roads, unified and automated pavement right-of-way and asset management data collection for public works and transportation departments in Ontario. My name is Amin Minena and I will be your host and moderator. I'm the Coordinator of Technical Products and Research at the OGRA. Before we start, let's get some housekeeping notes, as those of you that are common to these webinars, or you must be familiar with these. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar. So when you think of a question, just type it down in the chat function or the Q&A function, and we'll get to it at the end of the presentations. So that takes care of the housekeeping notes. And yeah, the webinar will be recorded and we will have it posted as soon as we can on our YouTube channel. It's now my pleasure to introduce David Kine. David has over 25 years of senior financial experience within the financial services industry. He has held Chief Financial Officer and Chief Compliance Officer positions for one of Canada's largest banking insurance group, CIBC Insurance, and other international Fortune 100 companies, such as Alliance, Manulife, and the World Bank. We also have with us today Hasib Malik. Hasib has an honors Bachelor of Science in Geographical Information System in the University of Toronto. His experience comes from working at private consulting companies like Fugo, Roadware, and working with the city planning department in municipalities such as the City of Toronto. Last but not least, we have Naji Al-Imam. Naji is a licensed professional engineer, as well as a certified professional traffic operation engineer, and qualified at the OMB Tribunal in the Ontario Superior Court of Justice as expert witness in the transportation engineering field. Naji effectively led the managed multidisciplinary teams, architects, engineers, and construction supervisors of around 130 professionals on multi-billion-dollar projects. Without further ado, it's now my pleasure to turn it over to you, David. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, a real pleasure to have everyone with us this afternoon. We're going to be really quick going through kind of what IRIS is and what our solution is and what problems we address to get you to see a real live demo of our Iris City data platform that Hasib will show you. We'll get to that real quick. We'll have Naji talk about the future and where we're going. But first, let me just start by saying that let me just get this back going. There it is. That Iris is a privacy-centric smart cities hardware and data platform company. Now, I'm not going to read every slide, but this is important just to get you up to speed that we offer end-to-end data collection and data reporting solution to municipalities, resulting in legislative compliance, cost efficiencies, and higher level of service. We help municipalities make data-driven, evidence-based decisions and interventions. And basically, we're a reporting as a service platform. We offer these services, pavement assessment. We have our AI-trained technology enabling people to get PCI data, improve the frequency, improve the access, and improve flexibility of pavement data at 50% at least of what it normally would pay in other need studies. We handle right-of-way inventory and assessment. Again, substantially lower costs than the others. And we provide MMS, minimum maintenance standards, compliance, and record keeping. Quick facts about Iris. We're a privacy-centric technology company, and we take that to heart. We're in everything that we do using computer vision, of course. We never capture private information, never capture faces or license plates. So we're in complete compliance with the Municipal Freedom of Information and Privacy Protection Act. As a matter of fact, our development of our privacy technology received support from Dr. Anne Kevorkian. She's famous as a 3-term Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, and she authored Privacy by Design. And this technology, specifically the redaction of private information, yet still collecting data, is something that we patented and we're very proud to have done. Our solution is very simple. We have 2 main products, Iris Go, data collection, and Iris City, data platform. And within that, we have the privacy. We have patents there on the privacy aspect of things I just mentioned, as well as the ability to provide pavement condition index rating, again using AI-enabled technology. The challenge in front of us, municipalities today are highly dependent on manual data collection and service delivery. How do we move from a consultant-driven, static 3-year roads assessment program to a more cost-effective, agile, and on-demand pavement and asset management approach? Current processes are slow, they're infrequent, they're expensive, and they're prone to human error. And we can take a further look at the status quo. Municipalities are spending millions of taxpayer dollars to pay for city inspectors to drive around and manually catalog potholes, cracks, and other road defects. And they do this daily with a clipboard, and often is the case. And these are actual pictures from one of our clients before we arrived. And this pen and paper process has not changed in decades. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's prone to human error. Additionally, globally, municipalities are spending billions to pay for road assessment surveys. This method is expensive, it's unbelievably slow, as these big Stantec and Fugro trucks need to drive each road manually. Again, some of our clients have been using these expensive trucks. So about the Iris Go device, we've commercialized this award-winning AI-enabled plug-and-play IoT camera. It's simple to use, no buttons, no screens, just mount and drive. I want to highlight as well that there's no in-cabin facing camera, preempting potential union issues we've had to deal with, but we got over those rather quickly because there's absolutely no camera facing inwards. We don't collect faces, name tags, number plates, audio. It's an install and forget device. It's installed within 10-15 minutes. And once it's live, it automatically collects and processes data. It starts when the vehicle starts and stops when it stops. All the driver needs to do now is drive and go about their normal routes and duties. And now switching over to the Iris, a bit more about Iris Go Data Collector. It's real-time data collection and detection, of course, helping prevent major liabilities. It can be deployed on both a static and mobile placement. It can be installed on poles, and what you see here is a static devices in a couple of our clients, a skate park and a BIA area as well. It's waterproof. The device is ruggedized, and it can be installed as well with solar power where necessary. And with AI, it never gets tired, of course, and continues working 24/7. And the other screenshot we have there is our device in a mobile setting, collecting inventory assets of bus shelters. So we started off our technology kind of looking for potholes. This was early on in our tech development, and we evolved since then to provide this sort of data. We're installed in city vehicles and drive roads every day, like buses and garbage trucks. The Iris Go solution is placed in these vehicles where it uses AI to automatically detect objects of interest and its attributes, including type, material, size, quantity, and other measurements that feed into reporting and analytics dashboards. This automated solution produces significantly better results at a substantially lower cost than current standard processes used by cities and municipalities today. You can see cars being redacted, cracks and other road hazards being identified. along with roughness index data. This drives the pavement condition calculations, the PCI data. And we collect this right-of-way data, such as hydrants and signs, all in one pass. It's very powerful stuff. And this is an example of our redaction technology. It's being able to redact faces and license plates and other private information while still collecting the underlying measurement of data. Another great technological breakthrough of ours was cracking the nut with regard to using AI machine learning technology to come up with PCI calculations, the pavement condition index calculations. And we worked hard at using AI and sensor fusion to determine ride-based defects, ride comfort that feeds into the PCI calculation. Using sensor inputs from devices out in the field, we were able to construct a road simulator for training our AI models to determine important pavement characteristics through accelerometer and gyroscopic data. And all of this and all of our data sets, all of our production data currently being deployed is under significant rigorous QA and QC processes. And we're committed to a very robust QA QC program, quality control, that is, quality assurance. We take it right from the project scope and budget and scheduling all the way through to making sure that projects are delivered successfully. And we take a very strong project management approach. We look at potential risks, we address them, we provide open and traceable decision-making. Assurances are put in place to minimize these risks and that might affect the quality of the data output, and controls are in place to check everything that we do. And our robust QA QC process is backed up by our in-house civil engineers. We have them on staff, as well as our engineering consulting partners, GM Blue Plan. They have offices, a number of offices, and over 200 staff doing some great consulting work. I'm going to pass it on to Hasib in a moment to talk about Iris City. It is our AI-enabled data platform. And you'll see that real-time pavement assessment data and road roughness, road hazards, and other data that would otherwise take months to collect is presented in this GIS map-based format. It's a robust interactive reporting interface that enables users to streamline many manual processes, gaining significant efficiencies through the use of AI and predictive analytics. And of course, we leverage our partnership with Esri to a large extent, bringing geospatial science into everything that we do. So with that, I'm going to ask Hasib, head of data, to walk us through the data pipeline and get us into a live demonstration of Iris City. Just tell me when you want me to proceed in the slide, Hasib.
Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah, so I'm going to start off by sort of talking about what our process is from the data collection all the way to the data visualization, which David just brought up, the Iris City platform. We're able to really collect various types of data. So, various assets on the road, as well as, the different road conditions. And so what you're looking at here on the slide is some of the signs and that we've been training our AI model and working with our current clients to build inventories for. So for example, the speed limit signs, as well as some of the warning signs. And what we've done is, we've first, trained our models, which means, we look at existing imagery or historical imagery, as well as the most recent imagery, and train our AIs to ensure that we detect these assets in all different conditions. So oftentimes when our vehicles are out, we may not have the perfect summer sunny day, but rather it may be a rainy day or a cloudy day, or there may be obstructions in the way. But we've been training our AI and our IrisCo device to ensure that we capture these right-of-way signs and assets in different various conditions, ensuring that we get the right data and that we don't miss any signs. And all of that is kind of, part of our process where we collect the data, it's stored on, Canadian servers, and then we process data, and then we work with our clients to ensure that, we integrate this data that we're delivering into their existing systems, or help them utilize, or help them out by, building them an Iris City dashboard where they can go ahead and quickly view this data. David, please just next slide. So some of the additional impacts and benefits with Iris has been, apart from just detecting signs and potholes, is, being able to really train our AI to detect various types of items that have been beneficial to multiple departments across municipalities. So one great example is we've been working with the waste department at the City of Hamilton to conduct waste participation studies. So, looking at the set out rates for different neighborhoods, as well as detecting the different sizes of bins and counting the set outs. So the number of large green bins versus a number of small recycling bins. And then being able to say, this waste zone area here tends to not have a lot of people participating in the recycling program or their blue box program. And we've been sharing this data, across the departments to say, hey, we need to have more educational, outreach to, let these residents, be aware of the different diversion programs. So from the detection to the analysis to the visualization is done all with the Iris Go device. We ensure that we're detecting the different bins, recycling bags, and then we kind of do some GIS analysis and some ETL processing. And then this data is visualized in our Iris City platform. Slide. And I touched upon this earlier is, being able to not only just detect one single item on a single drive-by, but, being able to detect all different kinds of assets and various items. So for example, we've trained our AI to now detect graffiti along with the city bins, as well as bus shelters. So, with one device, we're now giving the City of Hamilton 3 different types of data that are all handled with different departments. But, the cost savings here are, magnificent, are amazing, because it's only requiring them to drive by a single road once. And now we're picking up city bins, the condition of bus shelters, as well as, graffiti detection on areas where graffiti shouldn't be. So for example, a park sign or on a building where, graffiti art isn't allowed. But, we have worked with municipalities to, share data where they're also sharing data with us. So for example, graffiti, there are areas in Hamilton where graffiti is allowed. So, we work with their GIS teams to ensure that, we don't flag those areas where graffiti is allowed, but rather give them alerts in regards to, areas where graffiti shouldn't be in the first place. David, please go to the next slide. So now, what are the other capabilities that we've been able to do is work on, deploying our device in static areas as well. So, helping law enforcement with COVID-19. So we're able to put, we now have our device, in public parks and skate parks, where we can send out real-time alerts to bylaw officers. If, for example, people are not in compliance of the distance orders. So for example, if there's a group of 6 people within 10 meters of each other, we can send out live alerts. As well as being able to look at, mobility data, pedestrian counts, people admiring art. So at the City of Orangeville, I'll kind of show you the data once I do my live demo. We've been able to detect, the number of vehicles passing by, on the south of Broadway between, 1st Street and 2nd Street, as well as, the number of pedestrians waiting in line in front of the businesses. So, this type of data has been really important to Orangeville's economic development, especially with the impact on that COVID has had. So now we're looking at that change in data where, as different phases open up in at least, the province of Ontario, how is that data fluctuating? How are the volumes of pedestrians and cyclists changing for the downtown core in the City of Orangeville? So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. David, if you can just give me a heads up when you guys can see my screen.
Okay.
You guys can see my screen now?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so what you're looking at here is one of our City platforms for the City of London, who we have been working with to help with their MMS and road patrols. On the left, from a quick glance, you'll notice is the city, as well as the current the weather there, as well as a number of devices we have deployed for that city. And on the left here with the MMS patrol report, for MMS compliance, a supervisor from London Roads can go on here, is selecting the most recent defect that's been detected, and then in the issue detail tab, they can go ahead and view all the data that's attached to that pothole or crack or whatever MMS defect that there may be. So, for example, whether it's on a pothole, paved, non-paved shoulder, the service window based on to meet the MMS compliance, the address, as well as the GPS location and other information that can be really important when when people file for claims against the city. So having that image timestamp of exactly when this image was taken. In addition, they're able to go ahead and see this data point on a map. So with this in mind, the Iris City has been built to have all these filtering capabilities. So a supervisor who may just focus on class 1 roads can come in here and apply the specific filter for their class or district that they want to focus on. In addition, they can go ahead and filter this data for historical. For example, let's go back to the first week of March. Oh, it's just might take a little long to load. Apologies, when I'm sharing my screen, it can take a while. Oh. So for example, you can filter by whichever date. So if you want to go back and look at historical data, and we keep our data on our servers for, for ranging from 7 years to, let's say a year, depending on how long the client wants the data to be there for. Similarly, they can go ahead and look at the historical data as well and select all the points that they want to view. All the details related to that point, such as the device that this pothole was detected on, as well as the ward or any other information. So we've built these data visualization tools, with the help of some of the Esri's enterprise applications. For example, here, the supervisor is able to see what kind of routes were covered the day before. So in the route coverage module, in the date filter below, we can click yesterday and see what the route was for yesterday. Now, depending on the number of devices or the number of patrollers that were active, this map will show what the coverage was in kilometers. So in the middle chart here, we can apply this filter, and you'll see that for yesterday, there was 36.17 kilometers covered, and the rough time summary was about 38 minutes. So in addition to utilizing some of Esri's, our tech team has worked to build some custom MMS reports as well. And these reports, these custom modules have been really important because a lot of the times municipalities utilize different types of work order management systems. So, our ability to build custom modules has really shown that we can integrate really with, an SAP, or some other type of work order management system, as well as, Esri CityWorks. So for example, similar to the module you kind of saw earlier, this is, a custom module that we built, has the same type of information. They can go ahead and, for example, if this was already sent out to the, pothole sealing team, the supervisor just clicks resolved. And then when we go to our resolved issues, it'll be there. And so they have the ability to as well, download this if they want to share this with, their district supervisors. So the download and exporting capabilities are all there within Iris City. I want to kind of now touch upon, the asset side of things as well. So here's kind of the behind the scenes look of how we're detecting signs. And David really talked about how we're a privacy centric company. So, this is always live data that's uploaded to our data management portal. And, here we're focusing on some of the speed signs. And what you'll notice is, all the vehicles are redacted. The person here, so this is on one of Hamilton's garbage truck. The garbage collection individual is also redacted. So any private information is redacted. And what you're looking at here is the detection of speed signs. And as you know, the OTM code is RB1. I'm going to now move on to show you some of the PCI data visualization tools that we've built. And David touched upon how we're really able to turn this data around in a really quick manner. And these studies can be done on a yearly basis rather than waiting 3 years. Here's a good example of us utilizing our single iris Go device, but not to only collect assets on the road, but also PCI data. So I believe this was March 12th for the city of Hamilton. So this was one of the routes that the garbage truck takes on March 12th. And our AI PCI detection was turned on for this day and calculation. And so the city of Hamilton and other municipalities that want PCI data are able to go into this Iris City platform, select a specific data point, click the details tab, and all the information regarding that section of where the video or imagery was calculated will show up on the right. Just give it a few seconds to load. There we go. So the different, right now this is just showing the MMS. So depending on what our municipalities want to see, we can show all the distresses here as well, the PCI, and any other information such as the location as well. So another good example of this is the city of Owensound that we're working with. So in this one here, you actually see the distresses, so the long and transverse cracking, the alligator cracking, and as well as other distresses AI has figured out into the PCI calculation. So this data is all uploaded real time, and then our AI does the calculation on the back end, and then the clients go ahead and view this data and export it, or the ability to filter by date. In addition to just providing the data, because our devices are location based, we're also able to provide some fleet management tools as well. So for example, our device is on one of the Hamilton 305 garbage vehicles, waste collection vehicles, and you're able to see all the information such as the amount of data that was uploaded today, the lat long exact location of the device, the speed that it's traveling, the ambient temperature, as well as a live snapshot of what the device is currently looking at. So I'm going to click this take a snapshot button. It does take a few seconds to upload to get a real-time snapshot of what the device is looking at. Maybe while that loads, I'll show something else from our Iris City platform. So with City of Hamilton, we've been working on detecting bus shelters, city bins, and other types of assets that have been useful for various departments. Here, you're looking at a bus shelter, and now you may be wondering, what is good condition entitled? So for us, in this case, good condition basically means there's no cracks in the bus shelter or any type of vandalism occurring in the bus shelter as well. And similar to our MMS, we build these modules where we can provide information such as whether this bus shelter is in a BIA zone, what ward that this bus shelter is in, as well as other information such as a lat long for GPS coordinates and where this bus stop is on a map. So building inventories for bus shelters, detecting graffiti, and other items like waste participation has been our focus with the City of Hamilton. So on the chart here on the left, what you're actually looking at is the average green waste participation. So for example, I believe this was February and January for route, I believe it was route 306. Yeah, this was route 306. So for route 306, the average green waste participation for the Friday waste collection date was 61% in comparison to the month of January, which had a higher percentage of close to 90% for green waste participation. And kind of what I touched upon earlier, we're also detecting, the count of bins. So this is really important for when they want to, for educational purposes. They may want to, target neighborhoods and allow them to, purchase more larger green bins, or larger recycling bins, because we find that the recycling bins are overflowing. So we're able to send them these counts and then build, a heat map. Oh, it's loading a little bit. Build heat maps, which seems to not be loading, but build a heat map for the waste managers and other members of the waste department to look at areas that we can really focus on. Moving forward to the Jubilee bins, so the city bins. Currently, the city of Hamilton did not know exactly the location of all their city bins, but it was rather a a subtle description like a Jubilee bin across the street near the Tim Hortons. And so because our waste trucks were already out with the IrisGo device, we were able to train our AI to detect all the city bins and then help them build this inventory of where all their Jubilee bins are, as well as specific types of Jubilee bins. So whether it's a concrete city bin, a Jubilee bin, or some type of metal Jubilee bin. And the manager is able to go in here, select a specific, for example, this item here. Go ahead and select it. They can see the image of where that asset is. So it is right there on the right, as well as other information such as the lat long, the asset ID on the left here, bottom left, the address, and when this image was collected and the exact location. Now, what's really been cool is because we've been constantly training our AI, we've now been able to detect overflowing litter bins. So, for example, this one here. This image is a little tough to see, but this was one of the overflowing bins that was detected. You can kind of see it beside the yellow bin here. This is a concrete bin, so you can see that there's some garbage flowing out. All other, private information has been redacted, so any pedestrians or vehicles. And now that we've been able to detect overflowing litter bins, we can send them real-time alerts to the waste collection crew to focus on these Jubilee bins first when they're going out on their nightly routines. There we go. So I guess the live screenshot came back. So here's a request time. So it was about 5 minutes ago. I guess the truck is back at its facility. But in addition to that, you can see exactly where the vehicle is and other information that might be important for your fleet management. On to the last section, which I talked about was, we're really now trying to focus on how can we provide, economic and business development data as well. So with the city of Orangeville, we're providing them foot traffic volumes in the downtown core near Broadway, Broadway Street between 1st and 2nd Street. So looking at foot traffic volumes, on a daily basis, as well as on a weekly basis. So, what was, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., the city of Orangeville has access to this dashboard, and they can go on here and, focus on specific dates. So let's say you wanted to see, difference between the foot traffic volume on north of Broadway, for, let's say, Monday, the difference between a weekend and a weekday, for example, there we go. And, significantly, the Saturday has much higher volumes of traffic than, the weekday of a Monday. And the peaks are usually around the noon time. So in addition to all this, these different metrics, for example, the vehicle volumes westbound, the vehicle volumes eastbound. And what I'm referring to here is this map here. So this is the city of Orangeville, the Broadway Street here between 2nd and 1st Street. And this is where we've deployed our cameras. And here are the different regions that we're focusing on to get all these different counts. So that's just a quick overview of some of the tools that we've built with our IrisGo and IrisCity platform, from the data collection side all the way to the data visualization side that I've demoed here. David, go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hasib. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, and we hope we didn't inundate you guys with too much information, but it just really does scratch the surface of what we've been able to report on for our clients, and hopefully that gives you a nice sense of what we can do for you. We're coming to the end. I want to highlight just a few more things and then pass it over to Naji to talk about how we can go forward. Sign inventory, Hasib did talk a bit about this. We've got some significant projects with clients currently in place for their speed sign inventory. One of our clients said they believe they have anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000 speed signs, but they really don't know. And we're getting the answer to that to them really quickly and efficiently. We also, I think Asib touched in on this with regard to looking at garbage set out. This is a nice quote. Cyrus Terani's a great partner of ours, is the Chief Digital Officer at the City of Hamilton. A shout out to him. He's really embraced smart city technologies. He's got great things to say about Iris. These are some of the data points that we've collected for Hamilton: illegal dumping, damaged signs, graffiti. But what I want to highlight for you here is that as we're collecting data for specific use cases when a client engages us, at the same time we're cataloging other data that we collect in the single pass that we make, and we're building these reports that you see on your right that a client can access at any time when they need to. With a click, flick of the switch, a click of the mouse pad. And we've heard feedback from our clients that being able to avoid the rigorous RFP process where possible is really of great use to them, and this is a means to do that. I'm going to pass it on to Naji, heading up a transportation business partnerships with others. He's going to talk about his background, where he comes from, and where we're going forward together. Go ahead, Naji. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Hello, everyone. This is super exciting. Dave, every time I participate in one of these and I see what's going on Iris, it's just super exciting. And the level of my excitement when I look at this, there's no doubt that this is a disruptive innovation. It's essentially manual, traditional way of doing things versus the automated way of doing things now, this new technology. I come from a background of transportation engineering, so I throughout my 20-year career, I've been working on everything from planning cities, transportation master plans, to road designs and construction supervision of roads. And as soon as I saw this, and when I had a chat with Dave about this, it was I really felt that this is the future. Now, notwithstanding that this is a disruptive innovation, but I think the way the technology is set up and the way it's it's being implemented, we cannot work in isolation. So this is a technology that complements existing relationships and existing ways of doing things. We can only be successful in partnerships with the existing teams who have traditionally been working on these types of projects, such as the consultants and contractors, and directly with municipalities as part of teams working on these projects. So I come from a background of working everything from small consulting firms to some of the largest in the world. I currently, my most recent is Stantec, who is very much in this space, and I know for a fact that this type of technology can be very, very useful. It's a technology that can significantly improve efficiency, accuracy, cost reduction, both from the effort and the consulting side, but also from a management perspective, from the government agencies of the public aspect of it. We are a value-added component of every project that can be part of your team, part of any team really that's involved in any public works or road infrastructure projects. As you can see from our presentation, I mean, there's a lot of potential to this. Essentially, this is a capturing device that can capture the surroundings, and there's an AI engine in the back that makes sense out of it all. So there's really there's no limitation as what we can collect and what we can make sense out of. So we're starting with roads, and Hasib talked about waste management and graffiti, and the sky's the limit really. So I'm super excited to be part of this transformation, and super excited to hopefully very soon work with a lot of the people who are working in this area, whether you're a consultant or a contractor or government agency, to partner up and come up with solutions. Now, the other part to this is we have a small agile team that's very, very bright. We've come to this point, and I think there's no limit to what we can consider as to solutions. So customizability of future solutions, working with teams to customize certain solutions would definitely be something also that's on our radar. So with the limited time I have, that's kind of my 2 cents, and I'll hand it back over to Dave.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Naji. Wonderful insights, and so we're gonna. The time is 1:43. I'm gonna try to wrap it up real quick. I just want to then highlight in closing, if you will, some of the things that makes us unique. We're really easy to access. The data is right there, and we have APIs and means to get that data into your systems seamlessly and efficiently. We're breaking down silos. Every time we go into a municipality with one specific use case, it evolves into multiple different solutions that they need as follow-ons across multiple departments. So we're breaking down silos. We're getting cities to really embrace that smart city technology focus. PCI data, we talked long about that. We're proud of that. Vision-based data with Redaction, we talked about that. It's very, we're proud of that. And we're an end-to-end solution. We also highlighted that. It's some of the things that really make us unique. Couple of testimonials, and then I'll open it up to Q&A. Jessica at Guelph, we're working with them now in their asset management area, and she's got some great things to say there. David Sumner in London, one of our early clients early on, we've been able, and this is his quote, Iris was able to automate our MMS process from start to finish, bringing downstream cost savings and efficiencies, all while protecting the privacy of London residents. That really sums up what we do. We're really proud of this, everyone. We just got word the other day, and we're told that we have to wait till July 1st to publicly announce it. But so, let us just tell you, we became the top 10 finalists for the Infra Challenge. The Infra Challenge is quite it's a global, it's a G20 initiative done every year. And 30 countries submitted, their technology companies submitted into this challenge. And we made the top 20, and now we've made the top 10. Canada hasn't had anyone in the top 20 for years. So here's a Canadian tech company, Iris, that's made it to the top 10. And our sights are set to kind of win this thing, which it's kind of a big deal. The other thing, we won the Vaughan recently. We won the Vaughan Smart City Challenge, and we also were the recipients of, I don't know if you can see this, we got an award. Woo! The Burlington Economic Development Excellence in Innovation and Technology Award, awarded to Iris R&D Group. So again, that was a great event the other day with Bare Naked Ladies, Sarah McLaughlin performing during the event. It was kind of a neat evening. Listen, a call to action, of course, hey, reach out to us if you're interested in any of these things: right-of-way inventory assessment, MMS compliance, pavement assessments. We can bring your costs down and processes down, and we can get things going for you. There's our contact information. I'll open it up to questions. Thank you very much, everyone. Really been a pleasure.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Hasib and Naji, for your share of the presentations as well. This 40 minutes have passed like a second with all the wealth of the information that you guys are sharing. Not to take any more time, let's get right to the questions. The first question we have on our list, what extent does your AI assess right-of-way asset condition? is there a catalog available for stakeholders to review?
Yeah, I've been trying to answer questions as we go. Hopefully everyone was keeping track of those questions and answers. You can see them in your Q&A tab. If you click the answered section, you can see some of the questions that I've answered already. On this one, I didn't, because we do have a catalog. It's updated every day almost. We've got a real robust machine learning data pipeline with whereby we can bring in certain assets into the machine learning model as we go, as clients need. And we've got a whole catalog of stuff that we've done already with other stuff in the pipeline ready to go. We can share that catalog with anyone who's interested. It's kind of detailed, so we didn't present it here, but yes, we have that, and just reach out to us. We can get that to you.
All right. And I'm assuming your email was in the slides. Would you be able to share the slides one more time, just so that they can capture the email?
Yeah, sure.
Your email address.
Yeah.
And as you do that, I'll go ahead for the next question. Does the technology only work during daytime or sunny weather, or does it also work but in nighttime and poor weather conditions? And
yeah,
go ahead.
Great question. We always have this question come up. So in regards to, for example, potholes and different types of road condition assessments, the better the condition, the better, more accurate data you're going to get. With that being said, we, for example, trained our AI in rainy weather for detecting potholes, because something that may look like a pothole on a rainy day may not actually be a pothole. And to answer your other question, does this work at nighttime? Yes, actually, 2 of our devices on the City of Hamilton truck are on the litter bin garbage trucks themselves, and they go only out at nighttime. And I can kind of show you an example of a nighttime imagery if I can share my screen here.
Sure.
So yeah, it's not only daytime, but also nighttime as well. Here, I'll share my screen.
Watch out for time, but
yeah, just a quick glance at. Okay, so here's a nighttime imagery of one of the Jubilee bins. Just let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
Yes. So this is the nighttime imagery. So it's both daytime and nighttime, and that doesn't really impact. Depending on the asset, doesn't really impact the accuracy of detection.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have another question. Is how easy or how readily available would it be for municipalities or agencies to try out your services?
Yeah, that's a great question as well, because we're excited to share our technology and solution to as many people as possible. What we've done is we've tried to make it very, very easy for anyone to try it out. So we've come up with these pilot program approach. We never want budgets to get in the way. So there's a question I think someone may have asked, how much does this cost? And we certainly bring down costs, and we certainly reduce the amount of processes and effort to do everything in collecting and reporting on data. But what we've learned is we don't want budgets to get in the way. And often with our clients, they need to ease into things. They need to understand it a bit more. They need to wrap their arms around the technology, that it works, and the comfort in it. So we can put in one device very easily, deployed anywhere, either on a static or a mobile basis. We can start reporting data from that device. You can choose a couple of data points or more that you want us to report on from the beginning. You can see how it works, and we can build from there. And that seems to be the approach. And lots of our customers have started on that way. We've got customers started with one device, and they're up to 15 devices now. So
that is very interesting. Well, with that, the time right now is 1:52, and I think we do have more time. There's one more question that came in. Are you able to demonstrate green infrastructure data?
Yeah, well, with regard to green, Hasib, you can answer as well. With regard to you know, green sustainable sort of data, I do want to mention, although it doesn't answer this question directly, I do want to mention that we have a sustainability aspect to our technology. We're taking out a lot of greenhouse gas emissions by having our clients utilize their existing fleet vehicles like garbage trucks to collect the data they want, eliminating the amount of extra driving around cities in their own dedicated vehicles. Green infrastructure data. So Hasib, what do you make of that question?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, can we demonstrate that data? We haven't done so yet. But that being said, I think what kind of relates to this is one of the things we were training is canopy coverage of growing trees in front of residences that need to be cut down. I'm not sure if that touches upon green infrastructure, but just to answer your question quickly, we haven't yet, no.
All right. Oh, we see that the audience are being encouraged to ask more questions now.
Data collection on trees. Yeah.
Do you have data collections on trees?
Yep.
Yeah, we're excited to get that going. We're looking at canopy encroachment and signs by trees. We're looking at tree inventory, the size of the trunk, and cataloging that. So that's a nice use case for us.
All right. The last question right now we have is from Chad Findlay. He's interested in hearing more from you about monitoring winter surface conditions and compliance with MMS in terms of winter maintenance and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right up our wheelhouse. I mean, we especially with regard to the compliance with legal defense. So we have the ability to capture evidence that roads have been monitored and maintained during bad snow events, and keep a record keeping of that accessible by our clients on an as needed basis.
All right. I see no more questions coming up. So
yeah,
you guys have been clear enough, and your presentation has definitely been interesting
yeah.
and clear. With that,
Good.
I would like to come to the end of this presentation, this webinar, and thank Iris, and thank you, David, Hasib, and Naji for taking the time and delivering such a good presentation. And would like to thank the audience for joining in today. Thank you all.
Yep.
Thank you, Edmund. You did a great job monitoring. Thank you. Naji, Hasib, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I think, some of the questions about what kind of data are we able to deliver and give a list, definitely just reach out to us and we can provide you that list and, get in more deeper conversation if something isn't on that list, and we can work with our tech team to train the AI to detect it. Yeah.
Thanks,
right.
everyone. Thank you, Amin.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Bye-bye.